Everybody. I'm going to be drawing some basic proportions of faces today. I'm just using a pencil, possibly a kneaded rubber eraser, and a stump for a little bit of this work. I won't be going into great detail with shading at all. I'll be doing some very basic shading, but mostly I just want to show the proportions and layout of a face. So we're going to start with an oval and just kind of like an upside down egg shape where it's a little bit larger on the top than it is on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if this is a little bit difficult to draw something along those lines and you want to do it a bit differently, you can take a circle with a smaller circle underneath and connect them, and you're going to get basically that oval egg, upside down egg shape. Either way is fine. What is very important though is making sure you're taking this and measuring correctly from here. When you do your measurements for a face, you want to make sure that you are going halfway from this space. So most of the time I can eyeball it. I would guess it's right about here, but because I like to be careful, oftentimes I will also measure. So this is the measurement. I may be a little bit off, or I might be right on. Today I'm right on. Some days that doesn't work out so well, but today I'm right on. Then I take that half measurement and half it again. So that puts that right there. And then guess what we're gonna do? One more time. Take that half measurement and half it again. This gives us some basic starting points. This is the line for our eyes, our nose, and the mouth. Seems a little bit low to me for the mouth, so might be the shape of the face. So because of that, I think I'm going to just widen the jaw a little bit, and that will help in that feeling. Yeah, see, that feels better already. All right, so get some of that extra line out. You can always adjust if you draw lightly, and that's the key. You have to draw lightly. All right, so the face is approximately 5 eyes wide, so that would put this somewhere around here. Why am I not measuring it? Because I don't need to be too precise. I can look at it fairly easily and see that I am close to that measurement, although not quite perfect. Maybe a little bit wide on this side. And people aren't perfect. This is a very general video on how to draw people. It's not looking at anybody specifically. So if you are to look at someone specifically, you need to look at them and say, where are their eyes? Do they have narrow set eyes? Do they have wide set eyes? Are they further apart, closer together? What is it about that person that fits this? What doesn't fit this? This is a starting spot. It's not the ending place. The ending place is looking at a real person that you have in front of you and saying, this is what fits. All right. So you need to draw what you see, not what you think you see. And in this case, again, it's just basic proportions. So from those basic proportions, standard, like any old person proportions that somebody may or may not fit, we draw 2 lines down from the eyes. Those lines become the area where it shows our nose. Your nose is 1 eye wide. Go ahead and measure if you want to right now. And generally speaking, most people will find that their eye is the size of their nose. Again, this does not fit every single person. There are quite a number of people out there who this does not fit, but a lot of you that are watching the video, it will probably fit. All right, so nose right here, we have one larger circle and two smaller. Details on a nose will be a different video if this one is successfully executed by me. This being my first video I'm trying to make. All right, so the mouth is going to go over and below this line. And where do I end it? I find the area from right, not quite the center, but a little bit in from the center, and that mouth goes right here. Now, if I want to, once again, I can do the circle thing, and then I can use some dots. That'll be hopefully another video as well, specifically how to do mouths. But for right now, again, I'm just doing some general stuff. And again, this, yeah, I think I may have been off on this measurement a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and extend that chin just a little bit, fix that up. Even I can make mistakes. It's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's see what that does for our head. That means that the top of the head we need to extend up just a little bit to make this face a little bit larger. Not by much. Not by much. All right. So what I'm going to do with this nose is just follow these lines right here, and do not connect these lines. Do not connect the nostril to the corner of the nose. Why not? Because then you will have a bat, and you don't want a bat for a nose. It's just not natural is the point. This area would be where you would end up with some shading, the bottom right here. And the same with the mouth, the upper portion would be shaded. And again, this will be more detail in a different video. Definitely, you can get into a lot of detail with faces, and today is not going to be that day, not for this video. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and from those mouth lines, I'm going to go in just a smidge, just a little bit. There's my technical term, smidge. And I'm going to bring my shoulders out. For reference, your shoulders are 2 heads wide. So if that was coming to here, my shoulder would go off the page in this direction and over, I don't know if you can even see that on the video, but over to this area. All right, so right now we have a nice blank-eyed person. So let's go ahead and give them an eyeball. Let's give them a pupil. So this person's going to be looking over to the side and slightly up. I want the, there's the iris, and then the pupil itself will be nice and dark. I'm leaving a little bit of shine as well. This eye is a little bit on the big side, so I'm going to shrink that down just a little bit. And that gives us a basic eye here. Go ahead and give it a lid, just following over the top. And then from this corner, that starts my eyebrow. And then if I go to the other corner of the eye, in this space right here, little magic space that is created, would be where my eyebrow would be. And you can shape that however you want. You can give it an arch, you can make it thick, you can make it thin, whatever, it's up to you. But eyebrows definitely are expressive. They help us give us emotions on those the faces that we see, give us an idea of what somebody's thinking or feeling. With this one, it's just a general neutral face. The top of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose, that's where your ear goes. Seems like it's big, but you take that up and go down, and not so big after all when you add it to the side of the head. So especially when you start to put the hair in, because right now we have this forehead that looks rather large and this ear that probably does still look a bit on the large side. But as soon as you start measuring and putting your hair in, not measuring, I don't know. As soon as you start putting your hair in, that really just kind of shrinks. So you can put any kind of hair, look at, any hairstyle out there, and anything will do. I'm just going to put like this little shaggy hairstyle just for quickness. just because for me, that happens to be the quickest thing that I can add in, like a little shaggy hairstyle. And because I'm not focusing on the hair today, I don't want to do too much with it. I don't know, this one's kind of funky. Just add a little bit of it there. All right. And I'm not doing too much detail here, just adding a little bit of something here so that we have it. And with that, you have a basic face. If I go in and start erasing, and I'll do that on one side, get rid of some of these harsh lines, then what you can do is start adding some of those shadows, and it looks a little bit, more natural this way. You can add some of the different, details. And again, I'm not going to do too much, just a little bit to throw it in here. And you really don't need that much before it starts looking like something. Little shadow there for the Cupid's bow area. Attach the lips to the face. A little bit of the cheek area around the edge. And like I said, I'm going to just stop at doing one side a little bit. Go around the cheekbone and down the neck. And again, I'm using a stump for this because, I like stumps for blending, but you don't necessarily have to use them. You can use you can even use your finger, but in the long run, that's a kind of a bad idea if you're doing something that's not just practice, because it will collect oils and dirt, and it will ruin your picture in the long run. So if you can avoid it, you can, use stumps or even a Q-tip. A Q-tip works. It's not quite as refined as a stump, but it definitely will get the job done if you have nothing else. But if you're just practicing, it doesn't really matter too much, just how you do your blending. But if you can get a stump, they're really not that expensive. They come in a package, or sometimes you can get them single depending on where you go to, like maybe a college bookstore or whatnot. You can get them for not a lot of money. But again, if you don't have that, you have the option of, a Q-tip, your finger, a tissue. Although if you're using a tissue, be mindful that you are not using one that has lotion in it, because that will, again, just like your fingers, it will ruin your picture. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not doing too much with this, but I do want to at least get some eyebrows in there for you. Just throw some quick ones on where it's more than just like a block. And then just some quick eyelashes just to give you the idea of what this could look like if it were to get finished. Just make sure that if you're doing your eyelashes, you don't put them inside the eye, you put them next to it. And that's for the upper and the lower lashes. My pencil is getting a little bit dull, so working this fine, it's getting to be a difficulty to do that, but not too bad. So that's your basic face. It's right about there. I'm gonna stop just because I want to get into more details at a later time, hopefully, and show you something along those, along more detailed with the mouth or the lips or the nose. All right, so there's their basic proportions. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a good day.